Hey boss, this is Shandip Sharkar, son of Ma and Bhole Shankara, and this is the guide from the ultimate core of the Nemesis, showing you the light to knowing what you should do and how. What should be the basis of the transformation in your behavioral responses and reaction. And again, warm greetings and heartiest thanks from the deepest core of my heart for listening to me on my Shandipisha Astrology YouTube channel. Pulse, this morning, the topic of astrologization is going to be the analysis of the facts regarding the position of the seventh lord in different zodiac signs in particular natal charts. So, as we all know, that seventh house represents the world of Maya that Nemesis has sent you to. Depending on your Prarabdh for the rectification of your behavioral attitude, responses, and interactive reaction towards it. And hence, from the position of the seventh lord in a particular natal chart, it can easily be interpreted how you should behave from person to person, what should you do and what you should not, the do's and the don'ts regarding the maintenance of the balance of the parameter of righteousness in health for healthy reactions, returning you, making you return back to the right track, where Mother Earth can bless you with all kinds of abundance that she has in offering for all of our children. And I can do that very easily, because I know that all the articles, every single articles of the constitution that is followed in the ultimate core of the Nemesis, believe it or not, but I can do it. So I am the lawyer for you from that ultimate core of the Nemesis, not to support your deeds, remember that, but to guide you to understanding your mistakes, to making you free from this cycle of births. So what you have to do, you have to only follow the advices being given to you according to the position of the seventh lord in different zodiac signs. Though it is very tough to sum up all the details and all the analysis of seventh lords, of the position of seventh lords and all the 12 zodiacs in a single video, but I have tried my level best to make it shorter and precise, just to give you the basic information to enrich your insight into the facts regarding Vedic Hindu astrology. Now, you'll have to remember the basic fact that seventh house is the house of the illusory representation of the situations that you are facing now, that you are in now, and that is presented to you in such a way only to teaching you the necessary lessons required for you to make you aware of the series of the mistakes that you had been committing through cycle of births, cycle of previous births till this present birth. And you'll have to take seventh house as your friend, and wherever seventh lord posits, become your friend. It is the gift from the Almighty Ma, from the Creator Ma, and you will have to rectify your behavioral reactions and responses towards it, towards perfecting your very self, towards attaining the moksha, the ultimate bliss in the midst of abundance that every soul desires to get in, to reach in. Now let's start with seventh lord positing at the first house. So first house is our ascendant, is our very self, is our basic characteristic trait. So such natives will start considering their very self as their very friend. They will always stay engrossed in justifying themselves over others, in accommodating righteousness for their very deeds. They will also like to shape their spouse. They will also like to shape their spouse according to their very self. But here they will have to understand that they can win their spouse only through expressions of love, and they should avoid doing that. Doing that means thrusting their moral values upon their spouse or trying in their endeavors of shaping their spouse according to their very self. Rather, they should try to give to their spouse the due recognition that she deserves, and always spread an ear of protection, of love towards her. And here you'll have to understand that as seventh house is the illusory representation of the situations, so your spouse will always act or react in such a way that she or he is not trying to accept whatever you are telling her or him to do. But here you will have to see the reality through the illusory representations and change your behavioral reactions and responses towards your spouse accordingly for a better living, for avoiding any kind of marital conflicts. Now, guys, again suppose that seventh lord is positing in the second house. So second house represents our family. So such natives may get married in their distant family relations, or they will get married from recommendations of their family members. But here also they should not have to try to thrust upon their family values on their spouse. Rather, what they should have to do, they should have to give their spouse due, give the spouse their due recognition by showing respect to their basic individuality, to their basic personality traits. And if it requires, they should not be fearful or afraid of going against their families also. They should have to see the reality through the illusory representations. Their family members will keep on trying to make them understand that they should handle their spouse in this way or that way. They should try to make their spouse adapt to such family cultures or family values, because this will protect their family. But you will have to understand or see the reality through cutting the illusion with illusion, cutting the illusory representation of situations, that your family members are acting, the responses and reactions of your family members towards your spouse are illusory, and trying to make you understand regarding the mistakes that you had shown, that you had done regarding your behavioral responses and reaction towards your spouse through cycle of previous births. Now you have to rectify your behavioral responses and reaction towards your family and towards your spouse accordingly, on the basis of giving due recognition to the basic individuality to your spouse. It is as simple as this. Now guys, again just suppose that seventh lord is positing at the third house. Spouse for such natives will really be hardworking, and they may get married or may get acquainted with the spouse over digital media through writing or electronic media. They will always adopt to behavioral expressions, romantic behavioral expressions based on speech of romance. They should love their spouse. They should always show an attitude of love towards their spouse. And if conflict, though it is really on, if conflict arises with their siblings regarding their spouse, they should always maintain the balance. They should always maintain the behavioral expressions and reactions based on the basis of righteousness towards their spouse, and should always fight for the due recognition of their spouse over their siblings, over their neighborhood. They should go against the norms of the society if they have to do. And it will be great if they show courage or bravery to get married to castes really lower than themselves, lower in every aspect, from family background, family values, cultural values, moral values, education, financial values, everything. Just get married to castes lower than you, especially more lower, very lower than your castes. Destiny is asking you to do that. Now, let's suppose that seventh lord is positing at the fourth house. What is fourth house? Fourth house symbolizes our happiness, happiness of our heart. Fourth house is our home. So, the natives, so the spouse of such natives, the spouse of such natives will really be well settled and recognized in the society, and this will add to the happiness of such natives. But again, you have to understand, guys, that fourth house is also the house of your mother. So, conflict for the recognition, respect of your spouse in the society, due to the recognition and well established stature of your spouse, conflict with your mother regarding your spouse is really on, and it is really a tough situation. Neither you can leave your mother nor your spouse. And at the same time, the most important fact is that you will have to give due recognition towards your spouse. So, here I will advise you to adopt and behavioral romantic expressions of love mixed with intelligence towards getting a solution to this situation. Love and intelligence mixed together can provide you a healthy solution, provide you with healthy reactions, providing freedom from such kind of tricky situations. It is this. Remember that your mother and your spouse is real, but the reactions from them are not real. They are illusory representations, and they are trying to teach you the necessary lessons regarding your mistakes in your behavioral expressions and attitude towards your mother and towards your spouse that you had committed the cycle of previous birth till this present birth. So it is for this purpose of teaching you a lesson so that you may understand your mistakes and rectify your behavior responses accordingly. It's a tricky position, guys, and love mingled with intelligence can get back to you the right track of healthier reactions, providing you a healthy solution. So it's simple as this. Now, let's suppose the seventh lord is positing at the fifth house. It's a really good combination, and it is as if that your spouse is a gift to the reward from your reward to your Prarabdh, from the ultimate code of the Nemesis. Love marriage is on, so always be romantic with your spouse. Always never get tired loving your spouse. Simple as this. And the most important fact that you have to understand, that you have to remember regarding such kind of planetary position, that after your son and daughter is born, you should not, the behavioral expressions of love should not decrease. Your spouse should not feel that you have stopped loving her or him, or you are not loving him or her in the same way as you had been loving him or her before the birth of your children. Be serious about that, because destiny is asking you not to make your feel spouse like that. So change your behavioral responses and reactions according to that. Now again, suppose that the seventh lord is positing at the sixth house. Every planet does not deliver good results in its 12th house from its actual position. So it is again not very good combination. And legal, as also sixth house refers to legal issues, litigation related issues. So I'll not talk a lot about such kind of marital relationships. I'll not talk about marital relationships depending on such kind of planetary positions on social media platforms like YouTube. But here I would like to add one thing, that such natives will always stay engrossed in managing their finances, in maintaining their healthy routine, so they can really become good lawyer, good doctor, financial manager. Now guys, let's move forward to the position of seventh lord in the seventh house. Every planet delivers best results in its own house, in the houses it lords. So it's a very good combination, and It's the best combination that one can ever have in terms of seventh lord. The business, the business or success for such natives will start getting materialized after marriage. Next, here I would like to add one thing, that your spouse is the gift from the Almighty, from the Creator. So never ever ill-treat your spouse. Always show respect, valuing that verdict, awarding you that gift of spouse. In terms of planetary position of seventh lord positioning at the seventh house in a particular natal chart. Now, let's move forward and understand in terms of planetary positions of seventh lord positioning at the eighth house. Eighth house is the house of the in-laws. So such natives will stay engrossed in maintaining balance of righteousness with their in-laws, and their marriage will get persistence, sustenance and growth or decay depending on their behavioral expression and reactions towards the family members of their in-laws. Again, eighth house is the house of the occult, is the house of the research, is the house of the secret missions. So their spouse may also get involved in such sort of professions. Such natives should always maintain righteous behavioral expression and reactions towards the family members of their in-laws. Just remember my words. Now, suppose that seventh lord is positing at the ninth house. Ninth house is the house depicting the reward toward Prarabdh, depicting the reward according to a desert at the time of a birth from the ultimate core of the Nemesis. So the spouse for such natives will be like the gift as a reward to their Prarabdh, as a reward to their deserts at the time of their birth. Ninth house also signifies religion. So it also signifies that the spouse is also the gift of the religion. Religion means the awareness or knowing the do's and the don'ts. So such natives will always adopt behavioral expressions and reactions towards their spouse on the basis of righteousness, maintaining the balance of the parameter of the do's and the don'ts. And again, ninth house is third from the seventh, so such natives will have to fight, showing bravery and courage to get the gift of reward in terms of spouse from the ultimate core of the Nemesis in this existing birth. They have to show fight, bravery. They'll have to show courage, fighting to win their spouse. Now again, suppose that the seventh lord is positing at the 10th house. 10th house is the house of recognition, is the house of a karma, house of a deeds. So such natives will marry their profession. They will derive happiness from working. But here you'll have to understand that this is an illusory representation of the situation to make you understand the mistakes you have done towards showing behavioral reactions towards your spouse through cycles of previous births, that you may not have recognized, you may not have given due time to your spouse for the sake of only working or giving excuse to working. It will be more appropriate that you have given excuse to working, giving excuse of your profession for not being able to give appropriate time to your spouse. So it is the illusory representation of the situation. You have to understand that. So here what you will have to do, you will have to make your spouse happy. Make your spouse feel happy as if they are the cause, the very reason of their recognition. They will transform or change their behavioral reactions and responses towards their spouse, making them always feel happy as being the reason for their happiness, and this will in return will give you recognition in society 1,000 times. Remember my advice. This will, and this adoption of romantic behavioral attitude, expressions and reactions towards your spouse, always giving the recognition of love, always giving the sense of tenderness derived out of love, will work out evaporating all the hindrances and challenges from your road like mist quite magically. And even $1,000 spent for real gemstones won't be able to match such results, because 7th house is the house of the illusory representation presented to you in terms of teaching you the necessary lessons required for making you aware of the mistakes that you had done through cycle of previous births, in terms of behavioral expressions attitude towards your spouse, especially to women, especially to those who are pregnant. Understand that. Now again, suppose that 7th lord is positing at the 11th house. In such type of planetary position, natives, the spouse of such natives will be like gifts as a reward to the Prarabdh, as 11th house is the house of material spiritual gains from your karma. So you will have to be romantic towards your spouse and never get tired loving your spouse. Simply do that. Never, always be loyal and never ever try to cheat on your spouse depending on your qualities or skills of managing relations. You'll have to understand that. Never use your skills of managing relations, of management on your spouse to cheat on her. And your sexual relationships with your spouse should have to be on mutual consent even after marriage. Do not get indulged in sexual relationships before marriage, and you will have to be brave towards marrying your first girlfriend. Understand that. This will keep your Prarabdh healthy for your next birth, even for this existing birth also. Now, suppose that 7th lord is positing at the 12th house. 12th house is the house of foreign connections, so it clearly indicates that your spouse will be from foreign land, far away from home. You may also get engrossed, you may also get success in import and export business. Again, it will not be fair to speak on relationships of natives with 7th lord posing at the 12th house in their natal chart on social media platforms, so I'll not do that either also. So if this video has been of help to you, do hit the subscribe button, giving thousand likes. And as I've told you earlier in my another video on the significance of the astrological, especially on Nari astrological significance of the 7th house, that your reactions, that your likes, that your comments, that your responses, subscribing my videos will entirely depend on my Prarabdh, as you are real, my audience are real, but your reaction responses are not real. They are illusory representations of the situations only to make you aware of the mistakes regarding my behavioral responses, reaction towards my audience through the cycle of previous births. Such things happen related with 7th house, and hence Newton told quite intelligently that every action bears direct and opposite reaction. So again, thank you Ma, and I'm sorry, and thank you for enabling me to spread this message, for enriching the insights of my audience into Vedic Hindu astrology. And again, thanks to all of you for listening to me on my Shundipisha Astrology YouTube channel, dedicated to bringing to you the odds related to Vedic Hindu astrology that had remained untold and unheard so far, and it had really been evident to you that you are debunking the myths related with the facts of Vedic Hindu astrology after listening to some of my videos. Again, thank you. Thanks to all of you. I'm sorry Ma, and thank you Ma.